this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. Everywhere I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve.
Good morning. How are you doing? Hello. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm U-Turn LaVern, and this is One Street Over. Good Monday morning. Yes. It is, of course, Monday morning, and we are, supposed to be off for fall break, but everybody said, well, are you still going to do the show? Absolutely, I'm doing the show. Can't get radio out of my system, so we're here and going to be here all week, so I hope you'll join us for One Street Over. I don't know, I might take a day off and let Lee Marie fill in one day, but I'm not planning on it. She did help me with my guest this morning, though. She is the best producer ever. Just love her to pieces, and I told her, I said, Lee, I need a guest. She said, well, you know what? You haven't had Colonel Chris Orndorff on lately. Get on that microphone, brother.
Well,
you got it. You're great.
Glad to be here.
And JJ's with you. And he was telling me about all my microphones and what it is and what we got and all that. And Paul Rainey is on here. And I'm just going to kind of start here, Colonel. He was saying that he was just watching Channel 5, and they're doing a special about the rebuilding of Mayfield. And the last time I really talked to you, I think, to any degree, is because you have family in Mayfield. Of course, that's right. Where I'm from.
That's right. We had been there.
Yeah. And so we need to do an update on Mayfield. It's hard though, because, and Debbie's on, so she said, you're Debbie. She's saying hi. But the whole thing with Mayfield's really difficult because it's still gone. I mean, I was talking with my mother about it just a couple of days ago. And when you go through and you see it's just gone, and they're rebuilding, but it's not ever going to be the same. Right. It's not ever going to be the same. But yeah, you guys were involved in helping carry stuff down there. And who is it that you have in Mayfield? Is it your?
I've got 3 cousins. Okay. And then their children would be cousins too. So right. I don't know how many. Yeah. Exactly, but.
But yeah, all my people, as they say, are back there, in Graves County. So, but anyway, yeah, I hope they do get it. I'm gonna have to go check out this special. I don't know. They said on Channel 5 that was a special on the rebuilding of Mayfield. So I want to go and see that. And of course, we had Trace Atkins came out and did a concert there. Did you see that? He did a concert, and there was one picture that he's wearing my nephew's football jersey because he's a big dude.
Uh-huh.
And so they've got on Max's, I guess it's Max's jersey because it's his number because, I mean, he didn't take it with, And so all of those kinds of things. But, and then also, too, my brother's best friend, Pete Jackson, is all over the video. He's, he goes, yeah, they just put me in it because I cooked for him. So, because he's a sheriff's deputy.
Uh-huh.
And so, they have him all over there. But Paul mentioned Mayfield, so we just got to go ahead and, continue to keep our prayers going there. And what's going on with you, though, buddy? I mean, what are we talking about today? Lee Marie says you're here to promote the stuff going on with Tennessee Firearms Association because y'all have a dinner tonight, right?
That's right.
And I think Terry Wilson's speaking. Wilson. And sharpshooter here, JJ, we're going to talk about him just kind of ruling at the turkey shoot all the time.
Not all the time.
Well,
mainly.
Oh, you got to get up on that. You know how these microphones work. Let's straighten this up.
Yeah.
The front of it. So, you know how these microphones work. So, but according to Lee Marie, you're winning it all.
Usually, but.
How about that, Granddad? Does he call you what does he call you?
Dandy.
Calls you what?
Dandy.
That's fun.
He just started it like, I don't know. I don't know where it came from.
What's he called Debbie?
Granny.
Granny and Dandy. That's cute. We're Mama and Papa. Everybody has their grandparent names.
Yeah.
But so he says he gets it all the time. No.
Since how
we didn't do too well Saturday. We shot most of the day.
Yeah.
That they were open, and we came home empty-handed.
Oh no!
The only thing we got at the end of it was some Bojangles when we stopped there to eat.
That's fun. That's fun. Y'all have a good time, though. I know.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good time.
My shooting got bad since I had like a growth spurt, like a 6-inch growth spurt.
Oh, I thought when he walked in, I thought, my goodness, when did he grow up? Because I mean, he little fella last time I saw him.
Yeah.
Well, he did, and that's the truth. I hadn't thought about it, but he was a better shot with shotgun. Before he turned 10, I guess he's 12 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I started him shooting in turkey shoots when he was 4 years old.
Okay.
And I got a little 410 shotgun that's about 18 inches long.
That thing was shooting.
But it would hit the target.
Yeah.
I was getting BBs in there every time.
That's great.
Somehow.
That's fun.
Sometimes I would skip some bulls off the rocks.
How old are you?
Me?
Uh-huh.
I'm 12 right now.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was thinking that Lee Marie told me you were 12. So just in a minute, you'll be a grown man.
Yeah.
Don't take
Too soon.
I know.
In fact, he's driving, and I've got my dad's old pickup trucks, with standard shifter in it, and he drives. It's a gravel road between his house and my house in that truck, just like a pro.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's when I learned. I mean, we all drove all over the farm when we were kids.
Yeah.
And you can drive a stick.
Yeah.
That's just. I'm impressed. Oh, I remember one time my dad wanted me to come do something with a stick shift, and I got it stuck on a hill. And I don't know. This was when I had my license though, and I'm fine with a stick now. But man, back when I was young, I wasn't awesome with it. Yeah. But as he would attest to. But all right, so where we want to start tonight? What is happening tonight? Give me all the particulars.
Well, tonight 6:00 is our monthly TFA meeting at the American Legion in Greenbrier.
Mm-hmm.
And as you mentioned, Terry Wilson, the Veterans Affairs officer, is going to be our guest speaker, talking about veterans issues. Mm-hmm. But I'm honestly, LaVern, we have both been chairs of the Republican Party, and I feel like in terms of getting things done, TFA does far more than the Republicans, especially nowadays.
Oh, I would agree. Yeah, for sure.
So, that's where if I throw my energy anywhere, it's going to be with TFA now. Well,
and you can keep talking. I'm just pulling out stuff for ads. I'll have to do commercials while we're in here. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
really.
But I do commercials. I pay for this stuff. You got sponsors. But and you say that getting more done. In what way do you mean?
Remember, I think Governor Lee is well intentioned. But sometimes I fear he's maybe naive when he called the special session to me, this is my opinion, what he did, he opened up the doors for the radical elements in Tennessee to just cause a ruckus, which is what happened. I think Representative Doc Kumar would say that you can't do anything done when people are just shouting at you and making noise, and so nothing really came of it. But John Harris, the executive director, was the one. He launched a campaign, to shut down this red flag law because our enemies, I hate to say that, but our enemies take steps incrementally. And it's like the old adage of boiling a frog in water.
Mm-hmm.
You turn up the temperature gradually and the frog stays in there.
Right.
And, that's what our opponents try to do. And the red flag law would have been just the first step in gradually taking away our Second Amendment rights.
What do we do in regards to, people, I'm a person, I don't think we should have any laws regulating weapons. I mean, that's what the Second Amendment is all about. I mean, that's what it's about. And so, constitutionally, I just don't think we have the right to do that. I think we have to have laws that deal with mentally ill more aggressively, and in love. But that's where we take care of things. And when criminals do things, you deal with it. But it's just I don't know. People tell me I'm naive, but I would love to have the America we were supposed to have in the when
wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be beautiful? And true freedom, because we haven't known freedom, not really. But in a nutshell, though, we are so much better than the rest of the world. But if we're not careful, like you said, bulling the frog, you'll get to a place. We're talking about. I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name that's coming in here this week. I think you'll know his name. But Kurt Riley. Do you know who Kurt Riley is?
I don't think so.
He is the gentleman that's helping to get godly candidates in, to people, trying to get people in that hold the values that I know you and I have, and that's number one, first and foremost, the godly Christian values that we want promoted. And but anyway, nonetheless, I thought you might be familiar with him. He's up in Sumner County, I guess, but they're starting a group here to try to seek, more conservative type candidates and stuff that are not just, unfortunately, a lot of people, wag their tongue and say they're going to do certain things and then they don't.
Well,
and that's the frustrating thing.
Also, the issue of saying what you're going to do, but once you get there, you can't, even if you want to, especially on the national stage. But going back to gun rights, I feel like the most dangerous thing in the world is a person who has a gun and doesn't know what they're doing with it.
Absolutely.
And again, I started my grandson when he was 4 years old with shotguns and handguns. He was shooting 22s. Now, what's your favorite handgun?
I would have to say something like the 45 or 40. My dad's 40 shoots all whack though.
Yeah.
It doesn't shoot well, or
and it feels good. The barrel is just slightly weird, so it's shooting off everywhere.
Well, then get a gun to shoot straight. But I taught him how to handle guns. You treat all guns like they're loaded. You never point it at anyone unless you have to, and never let anyone point a gun at you. Because when I was in special investigations, I saw incidents where children shot each other. They grab daddy's shotgun or something, play cowboys and Indians, and shoot the neighbor kid.
Yeah.
And so I taught my children, never let anybody point a gun at you, even if it's a toy gun. Just get in the mindset, you don't point those at people.
Well, you have to hold people responsible that let guns fall into the hands of those of a child. That you've got to be responsible with your weapons, and we just don't teach personal responsibility anymore, and that's what blows my mind. I just like personal responsibility matters, and it's always mattered. And if we could get back to that, where would we be? It would be so much better. It would be a much better world. But But now tonight, you guys are coming together. Terry will be there. Terry Wilson, if you're not familiar with him, he is he's in charge of he's our veteran service officer. He's the lead right now, but he's about to retire. Did you know he's retiring?
No.
I thought you knew everything, Chris.
Now, I've been focusing on church things here lately.
I hear you, but yeah, Terry Wilson is retiring, and that's why you've got Gwen. Well, Gwen Harder was hired, and she is, and I forget the other gentleman's name that works in there. I can't ever get him in here. I've gotten him in here one time, but they're going to hire one more part-time person, I think, once he retires. But he is a veteran service officer, and they have their office over at the county building where you get your tags. It's on the same floor, just around the corner. If you go down the hall from where you get your tags, you can find them. But so he'll be there tonight to answer any questions. If you have, veterans that have needs, tonight would be a really good night to go out and talk to Terry and just see what's going on, and also meet everybody with the Tennessee Firearms Association, because you'll have a potluck, right? What time is dinner?
6.
6 o'clock.
And I should know, but I don't know what the theme is. But since it's October, I say pumpkin spice.
There you go. There you go. Something. But if Lee Marie pops on, we'll get her to tell us because they usually have some kind of a theme to kind of guide people in what they're going to bring for the potluck. But just bring something to share, and you'll have a big time. And it's a great group. I have been a few times. I don't get to go very often, but just again, I'm teaching now, and it is crazy. It is crazy town, but and I have to run to Mayfield today too. But anyway, so there's just all kinds of things going on that you can be a part of. Talking with retired Colonel Chris Orndorff and J.J. And just talking about the things going on around town that you can get involved with if you're somebody who wants to get involved in something political that, as Chris was saying, is getting something done. That's Tennessee Firearms Association, and that's going on tonight. Now I'm going to pause and take a break, and I want to come back, and there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. And number one, tell them how to get your books, because you've got several books out there that people can purchase. Mm-hmm. And also, too, I want to talk about Israel. Have you been paying attention to what's going on with Israel?
I have.
I knew you would, and so I think it's something that we need to address, because I've got friends actually in Israel right now, and they're over there on vacation. And it's so interesting, because what they're putting up on social media, it's like nothing's going on. And, so you know what I mean? So I guess they're staying out of harm's way, praise the Lord. But in the same sense, there's a lot going on in Israel. But we're going to pause, and we're going to talk about my friends over at Veterans and Motorplex. If you want to get to the races, you've only got a few more weeks, guys. Got to get on out there and see Jerry at Veterans Motorplex. This is the Old Highland Rim Speedway. If you want to follow them on social media, that's how you stay up to date on what's going on. Follow Highland Rim Speedway on social media, and that will give you all the details on what is happening. Now, the race this week is, last I heard, it was going to be a fundraiser for the Children's Hospital up in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll have to check on Jerry. Okay, he says it's going to benefit St. Louis Children's Hospital. And so you want to check that out. But that's coming up this coming Saturday. So going to be a big event, and we want to be sure and invite everybody to come out. Now, they always have a great ticket price. If you want to, you can spend $40 and you can take up to 6 kids and 2 adults for one price at the Veterans Motorplex. Always a great time. Go and check them out, and they've got all kinds of little interviews that they'll put up. They'll give you the results from the races that they just had. They're at they're at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. And if you want to give them a call, you can go 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725, and find out all that's happening at Veterans Motorplex. Just a few more weeks to get out and watch the racing. They open the gates up at 4 o'clock every single Saturday, and the racing starts at 6, again, of course, weather permitting. But they will also have their trunk or treat from race cars coming up right at Halloween too. That's always a good time, so you don't want to miss it. But get out and see them at Veterans Motorplex, and when you do, thank them for sponsoring One Street Over, and always let them know that U-Turn sent you. And we're talking with JJ and retired Colonel Chris Orndorff, and we're just talking about all the things going on in his world. He's here representing the Tennessee Firearms Association for one thing today, and the Veterans Turkey Shoot, which is going on Did you know you're supposed to talk about the turkey shoot since y'all go all the time? So how many more weeks is the turkey shoot going?
It's going to run through Thanksgiving.
Okay.
All the way through the end of November.
This is typically when they do it, but they've been doing one in the spring too.
That's right.
So
in
this is
April.
yeah. So this is the one that they always do, but now that they do it in, I was forgetting which one came first. But this is the traditional time for a turkey shoot, of course,
right.
because it's coming up on Thanksgiving. But they do one in the spring now too, and it's a fundraiser for our veterans here locally. So, but anyway, so what else is on your mind, sir? What else have you got going on that you want to talk about this morning? Let's talk about your books. How many books have you written?
I think I'm working on number 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you published everything have you got everything published? I didn't know you had that many.
Okay. Anyone can publish a book nowadays.
Yes, they
It's so easy to do. I have one nationally published book. It's called Terrorist Tornadoes and Tsunamis. I think it's still in print, and I checked the other day. It's available if you go to Amazon.com.
Okay.
It's on
And
Amazon.
then I've got a number of books that are out of print, or I've got copies at home.
Yeah.
But they're all available as ebooks. And if you go to barnesandnoble.com and type in John Orndorff, okay, everything I've written comes up. And plus Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, the wrestler. But I put a lot of my work on there for free because it's Christian, biblical related. And what I'd recommend is a book called Hearing God's Voice Every Day, which is an expanded version of From the Mouths of Babes. And it's a series, I think it's about 29 or 30 devotionals, and it's about J.J. and his sister Ella.
Oh, fun.
Things God taught me through them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You can download it for free.
Awesome.
Also, the Grace Baptist Church history, Great Trees from Little Acorns Grow is there. You can download it free of charge. So if you don't mind reading from a tablet or
I prefer
your phone.
it now because I can have it with me anytime.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's, and two, I read a lot. And so I don't like getting out somewhere and having to wait on something like an appointment and you get stuck waiting for a while. You've always got a book with you.
That's right.
I always have it because I can read on my phone. I can read on a Kindle, an iPad, and at night you can read without a book light and not, keep my husband up. And so you can, that right there in and of itself, because don't you remember the annoyance of having to get a book light and put it on something whenever you remember? You don't have to do that anymore. You can read on a tablet. Well, and so it's wonderful.
That's how I read my Bible in the mornings.
Yeah. Get on the tablet, but and I do. I love Audible stuff too. Have you done any Audible things? Have you recorded? Have you ever you got a budding broadcaster here? Maybe he needs to record them for you.
His PC it's not fast enough to record the software that takes it.
Say again.
His PC ain't fast enough.
Oh, is grandson telling you need a new PC?
Yeah, he wants us to get the super fast speed from Cumberland Connect.
Bernie wants you to get that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's one of our sponsors here in just a minute. So, do you have access to Cumberland Connect?
Oh, yeah, highly recommended. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you have it?
We do.
Okay, you must not have a gig then. Do you have the full gig?
We've got the standard package. Okay. They've got the super fast. That's for gaming.
Yeah.
But what we've got is, I love it because we've got the modem kind of in the middle of our complex, and it reaches every room where we have a TV or a computer.
I love it. Wow. That's great. So he's funny. Because, I'll tell you what, we'll just slide right into our Cumberland Connect ad while we're talking about it. But, it's so funny because I tell everybody that, I do photography now. And I did photography back when we were doing film. And you would take pictures and you would just hope you got the shot. Well, now I did a photo shoot with a kiddo the other day. And I really think I probably took 300 pictures because I just click, 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 and let them move. And I'll take pictures at ball games and things like that because I'm trying to learn the high speed in just, working with my shutter speeds and things like that. And I take hundreds of pictures. And so it's so fun because I can now upload everything from my house. I was working on something the other day while in between church services and Bible class. And I was thinking, I need to do some kind of an upload. And I thought, no, I can do that when I get home. Because I used to borrow the internet at church or here because I didn't have anything that was high speed enough. But now, because I have Cumberland Connect, I have a gig. And you can be a part of the gig club too if you want to go and check it out. And it's not going to be long until everybody that has Cumberland Electric will have access to Cumberland Connect. We tease Senator Kerry Roberts. He's going to be the last one because he lives so close into town. But it is so funny. If you want to check it out and see if maybe they're already in your neighborhood and you just don't even realize it, you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org, put in your zip code, and they'll tell you. They may be at your door as soon as this week if they're already in your neighborhood. But pretty soon, everybody with Cumberland Electric, that's what powers Cumberland Connect, will have access, and you can be a part of the gig club too. They also have the affordable connectivity program that if you're a qualifying household, you could get up to $30 for high-speed internet. And guess what? They've got packages starting at just $30. Call and reach out to Cumberland Connect today. Cumberland Connect. You can connect with them again at cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. And when you contact them, please always let them know U-Turn sent you, and the phone number too, 800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362 for Cumberland Connect. Thank you for leading into that ad. I appreciate that. Go ahead and get that one out of the way. But we appreciate them being one of our sponsors here. And so you can get your books then, Barnes & Noble. You can get them digitally. And you're not trying to make money on it. You're just trying to put your story out there. And I encourage people because I write. And I tell people, if you've got something that you want to write, it is so, like you said, so easy to publish now. And the things that you're getting out there for your grandkids, just it's archiving you really and what you're all about, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Because you've got stuff about your military career in there. The
enduring art of war is, I tell people that's what I learned in 40 years. So
how long did you serve?
Well, a total, if you count teaching junior ROTC, is 38 years.
Okay. Wow. That's something else. So that's, how many different places did you live?
Well, we didn't live that many different places. We were in Florida, Okinawa, Japan, Denver, Colorado, Montgomery, Alabama, and in the Washington, D.C. area, we were Waldorf, Maryland. But
that's a pretty good list of places there.
Well,
across the world.
It's not as many as a lot of my colleagues who would move every 2 years. But where my travel came in was with temporary duty assignments. It was just all over the world, especially when I worked for the State Department. It was a different country every week. Wow.
Well, and you spent, how long were you in Japan?
3 years.
3 years. How cool, though. I bet that was just an amazing experience. Did you learn the language at all?
No.
No.
I've always been interested in German. And I learned a little bit of German. Yeah. But I never learned anything other than Ohio gozaimasu, konnichiwa.
Yeah. Just the basics.
Yeah, the basics.
The basics. I love it. But so exactly what was your favorite job when you were in the military? What would you say would be the one that was the most fulfilling? Because you did a lot of different things, but primarily in intelligence, though, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I was in the Air Force equivalent of the FBI.
Okay.
And because we were military and have an overseas presence, then it wasn't just OSI, FBI was CIA kind of things too. So when I was a OSI detachment commander in Denver, Colorado, I think that was the most fulfilling. I felt like it was a hand-in-glove experience. We were doing primarily counter drugs, but also, crime and criminal activities and some counterintelligence. But every day it was different. I was coordinating with a different agency every day, it seemed like, but it's just so much fun. And then my last job, I was the equivalent of Q in the James Bond movies for OSI in the Washington, D.C. area.
Wow.
That's
Fascinating.
There again, every day was different. I was coordinating with different agencies on, what's the latest, the greatest that we can use for our agents in the field. And so that was really, at the time, I felt like self-actualizing.
So were you serving it during 9/11?
No, I had just retired.
Okay.
And I was working with the State Department.
Okay.
And in fact, I was at The Hague in the Netherlands doing anti-terrorism work.
Wow.
On 9/11. So when I finally got back to the States, I went through customs. They figured out I was CIA or something. And, it says, where were you?
Well, but I mean, and so many people talk about how that the one I know that Brian Wilson, when he came and spoke to us at the party meeting one time, he said that probably the biggest thing that came out of, because he was in Washington when it happened, but he said from a covering the news perspective, he said the biggest thing he thought that came out of is the agency started talking to each other in a more, because it wasn't anything you could do. It's the higher ups had to take off the barriers to open up communications between the intelligence agencies. And he says that's probably. Did you see that? Could you bear witness to that you saw that?
Well, in the intelligence world, there's this thing called intelligence oversight.
Okay.
And it's something that they inspect rigorously, and that's to make sure you're not spying on U.S. persons, and that's a citizen or a resident alien, someone classified as a U.S. person. If you suspect them, I think I've been out of the business for a while, of engaging in espionage, then you only have, back in the day, I guess it's still the same, you only have 90 days to make your case.
Really?
If you can't make a case in 90 days, the case goes away. And, the criminal side and the counterintelligence side, they just didn't talk to each other. And it's because of the rules that were in place. And, I could have gone to jail if I was violating someone's civil rights by keeping a file on them.
Interesting.
So,
well, and it's so, and it's so fascinating to hear, you say that, and then to see so many rules that have been broken in the political world in regards to a lot of political candidates, I mean, and there's a lot of things.
Well, those things were set up for our protection.
Yeah.
So that there should be a way to protect an innocent U.S. citizen and at the same time catch the bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with retired Colonel Chris Orndorff, and again, a fascinating career that he's had. And I've heard you speak on several occasions about just some of the things that you've been involved in, and do appreciate your service. My goodness, a lifetime of service, really. And but you say now you're more interested in what's going on in church and ministry and all of those things. And so, what is going on in that world for you?
Well, I'm working with Brother Steve Freeman.
Okay.
On a book on pastoral leadership, and he's writing it for pastors. And in fact, I think that the impression I've gotten is that they're going to be using it in seminary, because it covers things like, as we get together every couple of weeks and sit down and talk. And if you've never had a chance to just sit down and talk to Steve Freeman, you're missing out. But, we talk about leadership, we chase rabbits, and I record it all and then try to make sense of it later on. But we come up with aspects of leadership that you just don't think about. And one of the last chapters we finished was on wild cards, which is generally a futurist term of things unexpected. 9/11 was a wild card.
Right.
Okay. And so I often thought of wild cards as being something negative, and it's like, how do you lead as a pastor when something like the pandemic happens?
Yeah.
And boy, he's got a wonderful testimony there on how you follow the Lord through that. And then I'm thinking, they're all negative. And then I realized, wait a minute, and this is, I believe the Holy Spirit's speaking to both of us. And it's like, remember when, we were looking at relocating the church, and all of a sudden a neighbor wanted to sell us their home in 5 acres just next to the church so that we didn't have to go out and buy 80 acres out in the country. That was a wild card. And so it's both things that unexpected bad things that happen and unexpected blessings that come about. How do you stay prepared for each of those? And so, that's an aspect of leadership I don't think many leadership books cover.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what's been taking up a lot of my time.
Well, but that's wonderful. And I think, have y'all talked anything about, trying to breathe? I mean, so many churches are the membership's down. Kids are not going.
Yes.
And our young people are just not going. A lot of them. Now, I'm blessed that all but one of mine are still in church. And I've got 4 boys, and still, can't figure out what's going on with the one that's not there. But we're just praying over him and know that he's going to come back around. But how do we get them to understand the importance of worshiping in a congregation? So many will say, "Well, I'm fine. I don't need to be in church." And if you're not a part of a congregation, you just really don't know what you're missing. And have y'all talked anything about how do you convey that?
We have, and the church took a tremendous hit.
Oh yeah,
in attendance, and we're just now kind of getting back to where we were, so that the church is growing
because of COVID.
But if you want to talk about youth, this is the man to talk to right here. He's heavily involved.
About youth?
Yeah, at the church,
It's pretty good. It's just one thing. My sister doesn't like it because she thinks it's boring, because she's not the kind of person that likes sports that much. She likes playing softball, but not that much.
So, but we're talking about what do you think will, how old's your sister?
11.
Okay. So when it comes to the things you do through the church, though, like Bible class, do you enjoy your Bible classes?
Yeah, it's pretty fun because Brother Philip, he throws some games into it every now and then
to keep things interesting and stuff. And what do you think you're going to be doing as far as how are you? You're 12, and you're just coming to that age. What do you have in your mind a plan to stay faithful? Because it's you have to work at it. You have to work at it. So what comes to your mind on things that you would say? Do you see? Do you have friends that maybe have been at church and now they're not there anymore? And
my friend Hunter, he used to go to Hopewell Baptist. Now he doesn't.
Okay. What kind of things can you say, do you think, to your friends that have stepped away from church? Do you encourage them?
Yeah, I try to get them to come on Wednesday nights.
Okay. So, because that's the thing. People, I hate to see things scheduled on Wednesday nights. When people they'll have something. We had something for school that was a career night, and they had it scheduled on Wednesday night. I'm like, that's church night. What are you doing? And but now you could get out in time to get to church. It was early enough, but sports things that are on Wednesday night. All this stuff, and it's like
for a long time, I went to church on Sundays. That's it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Sunday night, didn't like Wednesday night, but I love Wednesday. I look forward to every Wednesday night because we all go together. They have serve a meal. It is $5 and it's catered by Larry's.
Oh, nice.
And we always just have the best time there, and we go in. Have a traditional worship service for an hour, 45 minutes. And then we have Grace University, and this past we just ended a quarter, I guess, and I was in a class with Dr. Jim Parker from New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary.
Oh, wow.
He's a wonderful man, good friend of mine too. And he taught a class on character studies from the book of Acts. And LaVern, I've been studying the Bible for over 50 years, and he was bringing out things that I hadn't noticed. So it was just wonderful. And then, not this week, but next week, Dr. Blake Newsom from New Orleans is going to be teaching a class on the Sermon on the Mount. And there's a whole bunch of classes to choose from. And I got to tell you, it is hard to choose between, Brother Steve's teaching one on Christian disciplines, and it's like,
which one do I want to go sit?
Choice.
Well, and I do so much. now with just I listen to podcasts all the time. I'm just deep. And have you discovered BEMA, BEMA, and Marty Solomon? Have you discovered any of that? It's all from a Middle Eastern perspective. And and Lee Marie's chiming in saying the Baumgartners, Shannon and John, have a freedom class on Wednesday night at Grace.
Yeah. Now Debbie has been going to their class, and she has really enjoyed it. In fact,
there's tons of them.
I love John and Shannon. And I says, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I got to make a choice one or the other."
Yeah.
And you know how John is. He says, "I see how you are."
Yeah, exactly. But yes, and I had Shannon on Friday. She came in because I had, and I don't know if you've heard this, but before too, she's the one who kind of flipped the switch for me. Because right after the last election, I was just so depressed about everything going on in our country. And I was getting up every single morning and turning on 99.7 and just poisoning my day with just everything political. And Shannon came in and she was just bouncing around and just happy-go-lucky. And I said, how are you not just, because I was just down, just very depressed. And she goes, well, I just, I give God my first fruits every morning. And she goes, that just starts my day off. And it just clicked something in me to where I quit turning it on. And I honestly and truthfully, I'm neglectful of paying any attention to political things anymore. I mean, I of course stay involved and vote, and I'm going to do everything that I can. But I just don't watch it anymore. That's why I was asking you about Israel. I'm curious about what's going on with Israel because I've not been really paying attention. I know that, what Netanyahu has said, but I just concerned because I've got friends over there right now. And there's probably, Israel's probably the only place I really care to travel to. I mean, I would travel and go and do things, and I would love to go to Ukraine because I've got friends there as well. But we go to Mexico every year because we do mission work down there. But as far as a place that I'm just like, I would just really love to go to Israel. That's it. That's my bucket list, place to go. And I don't know much about it. I don't know really what's going on over there. I mean, so can you kind of let me do an ad and we'll come back and maybe we'll flip the switch and talk about that. Just it's so interesting to hear what all's going on in your life, though. I knew you had a lot, but. Anyway, we're talking with retired Colonel Chris Orndorff and J.J.'s here, and we're going to have to let him talk some more too. But we do need to pause for a second and talk about my friends over at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gibson Gardening Center. Let's flip over there and see what's going on. It's so funny. My friend Lacey Bew, she has got me into this mully grass. We call it cotton candy grass because it's a perennial, and every year that you have it, it gets better and better. And so hers is now, she's got some that's starting to turn pink, and it's just the coolest stuff. And so she's got me, growing it as well. And you can, now's a great time to plant that kind of stuff because perennials, this is the time of the year to get them in the ground and let them get established and, keep them wet through the winter. You maybe even cover them up if you need to. But now is a really good time to plant perennials. And you will have just beautiful things coming up in the spring. So, go and check it out and see what they've got for perennials, see what they have left for beautiful fall color. They've got some beautiful arranged baskets that they have made that are just absolutely gorgeous, and just all kinds of wonderful things over at Corbin Creek. And right now, she's featuring her new puppy dogs. They've got a couple of pugs that they love to feature as well. So if you're into that, go and check them out because they're just so sweet. But everything that you need for your lawn, for your garden, they've got everything to get you going at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. Beautiful stuff to be planting. So you will have some beautiful surprises in the spring. They are your CBD headquarters for local produced CBD, produced out of the plants that her brother Bill grows. The salves she and her mom make right there in the house. Fabulous stuff. And it helps me with my arthritis tremendously. If you want to go and see them, they're at 4920 Highway 161. The winter hours are 10 to 4. The cold weather hours, 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday, 1 to 4 on Sunday. Go inside the shop there. Look at some of the handcrafted items from Miss Jane. All my pot holders come from Miss Jane now. But everything you need, you're going to find it for CBD products, handmade items. Gift time coming up real soon. Going to have gifts that you're going to need to give. We'll go and check them out for beautiful gifts as well. 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185 for Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening. Tell them U-Turn sent you. Talking with JJ and Colonel Chris Orndorff. I don't know. I still want to call you doctor sometimes. I don't know why. I used to always call you doctor, and because you've kind of educated. I tease people that by the time, you study all the time, and I said I will never have a ministry degree, but by the time I go home, I will have studied enough to have a doctorate. I think because I love deep Bible study. I got something about Acts. Have you ever heard something I never realized? That when he talks about greet this one and that one in Acts, and he's talking about, or no, maybe it's in Romans where Paul's writing, and he says something about Rufus. Have you ever noticed, go and read in the Gospel of Mark where they're talking about how that Simon's helped carry the cross. He was the father of Rufus and Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that's the same Rufus when he says greet Rufus. And I just think that's so cool that you don't see those connections, and it was just fascinating when you study deep and you find out it's like, oh, well, why did they mention Rufus in the Gospel of Mark? Well, it's because he was in the Church of Rome, and you see that where Paul mentions that. And so anyway, it's just fascinating to me when all that stuff.
It is. I did this. This is, gosh, 30 years ago or over 30 years ago, I wrote an article on King David's mighty men. And as I was doing the research, I started seeing some connections I'd never seen before. Mm-hmm. For example, when David committed adultery with Bathsheba, she was the daughter of Ahithophel, who was his close counselor. The granddaughter of Ahithophel. She was the daughter, I think his name was Barzillai, who was also one of his mighty men listed there, as well as the wife of Uriah the Hittite, who was a mighty man. So he was betraying 3 of his close companions.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, that's the thing. It's just fascinating to me. And it's just, there's so much. We could just sit here and talk Bible and have a really good time.
We sure could.
I did say I wanted your take on what's going on in Israel before we run out of time. So talk to me. What's happening?
Okay, this is forgive me. I had a friend when I was in Air Command Staff College who called me Booker because I'm always reading a book. Mm-hmm. But this is. Probably 2001, 2002, William Bennett wrote a book called Why We Fight. It's a small book, and he deals with the problems over in Israel. And the Palestinians and the enemies of Israel do not recognize Israel's right to exist. In fact, if you go into a Palestinian classroom, and I dare say there's some classrooms here in the United States where you see a map of this Israel, this area, Israel is not in it. It's all Palestine. Mm. So they do not recognize that they have any right to exist as a nation. As far as they're concerned, they are trespassers. They've taken what was rightfully the Palestinians. So, that goes to the root of it. And also, over the years, Israel has bent over backwards to make peace. I recommend this book to anyone who wants to understand. Again, it's probably maybe a little over 100 pages, very quick read. But they have bent over backwards. They have made ridiculous concessions. And this is going back to 99 when Bill Clinton was trying to make a peace treaty between the PLO and Israel. And it was Yasser Arafat at the time and Ehud Barak, who was the prime minister of Israel. And Clinton talked Barak into just giving away the farm, and it wasn't enough for Arafat. Because Arafat would make these ridiculous demands, and at that time he was conceding to them.
Right.
And it's like, no, not good enough.
Yeah.
So that tells you, that there will not be peace as far as they're concerned until every Jew is killed. Now, this particular attack comes 50 years after the 1973 attack. Do you remember where you were when that happened in 73?
I was still in high school. And so I was born in 62, so I would have only been 11 years old. So I wasn't aware enough to understand the significance.
Oh, you're such a child.
But I know that happened, but it was when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was your granddaughter's age. So yeah.
I was on my way to Philadelphia.
Wow.
And I'm hearing news reports, and it looked like, gosh, they're going to overrun Israel.
Yeah.
Israel's done. And before I knew it, within just a couple of days, Israel had completely turned the tables on them, and they were within a few miles of Damascus, Syria. They had humiliated their attackers. Now, they had been surprised. They'd been overrun. But by the grace of God, and I believe God is watching over Israel, my prayer is that he will be their iron dome. Okay, so, but this attack comes 50 years after that. But here's the thing, and I think everyone who's paying attention understands, they didn't attack military targets.
No,
they went into homes and murdered families. In fact, I get updates from Joanne Bregman. Some of you may know her. She's a conservative activist, an observant Jew, and she's a wonderful person. And she's been sending updates, and she sent me a video that, and the Palestinians, what they're doing, or actually it's Hamas. Okay, there's not all Palestinians are bad. But they had kidnapped, it looked like about 3-year-old Israeli children and put them in kennel cages. And it looks like a kennel where you'd see dogs, they're stacked 3 high, and on the top rack, it looks like 2- and 3-year-olds in there. And of course, the Hamas is laughing about it. But, there's the article about it. It's actually a German girl who was there for a peace celebration. It looked like, from what I could see, they raped and murdered her and were parading her naked body through the streets. So this tells you what we're dealing with. All right, these people don't want peace. They want the annihilation of God's people. And if you wonder what's going on here, read the book of Revelation. Remember, I wish I could tell you the chapter and verse, but there's the woman who gives birth to the child is caught up to heaven, and the dragon makes war against the woman. I think that's illustrative of history of, there's just been this constant war against the Jews. People look at the Holocaust and think what a horrible thing it was. And it was a horrible thing. But that was just one of many. Yeah. Because throughout
again and again.
history, there were pogroms against the Jews where they just made up things. But it's all satanic in nature.
Well, and let me do my last break and let's come back. And so, what do you think that Netanyahu has had enough, and he's like, we're done. We're going to settle this once and for all. Do you think he's to that point?
He sounds like it.
He does to me as well. And it's, you're talking about when they stopped at Damascus, they could have pushed on and been done with it. And they didn't.
Right.
They keep pulling back. And I don't know that he's going to pull back this time. And that's just kind of that's my perception of it. Because that's one thing I do still pay more attention to Israel than I do a lot of things. But I don't know. It feels different this time. It does to me. And we'll get your thoughts on that. Let me come back. Let's take a quick break from our friends, Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. The best way to find them, again, Exit Realty Garden Gate team, the broker in White House is Rebecca Richards. The broker here in Springfield, they've got an office on Downtown Square, is Barry. You can give Rebecca a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. I talk about them being a team, but Barry reminds me, no, we're in competition with each other, but he will help her with the marketing side of it, of course, because he is he came out of a marketing background, vice president of a media marketing company for 17 years in Nashville. And so he's going to make sure she's got the perfect pictures, the perfect video, and drone footage. You want drone footage? They can take care of that if you've got some property to sell. I love pulling up their listings and finding all the listings that are up in Greenbrier, and they've got several guys. You could send your kids to school in You could buy in Greenbrier, and that way I can teach kids one day. They've got properties up in Kentucky. We talk about how they specialize in Robertson County properties because they're here. They're up in Cross Plains, been there for 27 plus years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Got virtual tours on a lot of their properties you can look at. Best way to find them, again, you can go to sellwithbecky.com or robertsoncounty.com or just Google them. Google either one of them, and they both have independent web pages. She's got a Facebook page, but they're real easy to find. Barry or Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. Reach out to them today if you're looking for anything, buying or selling in the real estate community. They are great folks to work with, and when you talk to them, let them know U-Turn sent you. Okay, Colonel,
Yes.
What do you think about what we said, as far as the different seemingly a little bit of a different perspective? What do you think?
Now, I've read several articles, and there's speculation, and there's probably some proof somewhere that Russia is supporting this in some way, and there's no doubt Iran is behind it. And it boggles my mind why the world has treated Iran, the biggest state sponsor of terror in the world. They're just treated with kid gloves. And why the Biden administration and Obama before him they want to have normalization of relations and a peace agreement. But I mean, in fact, the Americans have died just this weekend in this thing. So why we want to make peace with someone who's murdering Americans, it's beyond my comprehension. But I think, thinking prophetically, Bible prophetically, there's going to come a point where an alliance led by Russia is going to invade Israel, and that is, that's a sure indication we're in the very last days of this world.
Well, and I'll tell you, we're out of time. We're getting off into an awful deep subject, and we're done. We're out of time, Chris. I'll have to have you back, and let's talk some more, and just kind of keep your eye on things in Israel, and we'll talk more about it. Do you have any parting thoughts for us, JJ?
Yeah, JJ, what do you think?
What do you think?
About what?
About anything. What do you want to say? You've got the floor there, young man. Lean into that microphone.
Tell them what.
Anything? What have you? You're okay? Are you on fall break?
No, I'm homeschooled.
That's why I thought you were homeschooled.
I have a lot of breaks.
You don't have a lot of breaks. Oh my goodness! So, what's your favorite subject?
History or science?
Oh yeah, he's your kid. He's your grandson. History,
I hate
for
math.
Sure.
I hate language.
Me too.
Oh yeah. But the history part of it, and you got a good one here to mentor you in the
All
history
you do is
side.
history is just listen.
Yeah, but
all you
I
do.
love history too. So, well, I appreciate you coming in. Maybe we'll see you at the turkey shoot. So
Probably.
you're gonna win it
yeah.
this time. Yeah, you need to be
Hopefully.
practicing with that longer shotgun, I guess, right?
Yeah, I have to say this. I got a new shotgun a couple of years ago. In fact, JJ picked it out. I went to my first turkey shoot, and I could not miss. I was winning so much, I was self-conscious.
Yeah, you're like,
And
oh, it's not.
and I was bragging on the gun. You just can't miss with this thing. I haven't hit since then.
Oh no, how
I
funny.
have.
You have. Well, we'll see you guys at the turkey shoot. Turkey shoot's happening every Saturday at the VFW through Thanksgiving, and you'll see the Orndorffs there. And your last name is not Orndorff, though.
Alan. My last name's
It's
Alan.
Alan, that's right. But you'll see him out there, and go ahead and check out his books, too. So they need to look up John Orndorff.
John Orndorff.
John Orndorff at Barnes & Noble. You can find all the stuff, and it's free. And you can download it and enjoy it. He's a very wise man, very interesting fellow, and we appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, JJ, for dragging out of the bed early and coming and
Yeah.
joining us. And thank you all for joining us here on 1100 WSGI. Tomorrow, Crooked Eye Tommy is in the house. You don't want to miss that. We got Tommy Marsh coming in. The Big Blues Festival is happening on Saturday, a $15 ticket, guys. And we want you to be a part of the Blues Festival happening at the fairgrounds. Tommy will be in here to talk all about it tomorrow. And again, this is 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.